Hello, this is Annie, and welcome to Strangetown. This is gonna be a speed build of the elementary school. When I made my recent Hood Tour video, part 2, I mentioned that building the schools is gonna be the sort of next step for me, and there were several of you who wanted to see speed builds of that, so here's the first part, and it's gonna be a sort of three-parter because after this I'm also gonna be building a high school and a daycare center. So here I am starting to sort of lay out the way that I wanted this build to look. And as I often do, I start with the driveway because I just find that mapping out where the cars are going to go is a good start, especially for community lots to sort of figure out how the layout overall is going to turn out. Because the parking spaces always take a lot of space and it's a bit limited to how the cars can drive after all, when they park in the car park. So I like to start with that. And then I had decided that the elementary school was gonna sort of mimic the ground house that's there from the start. So I built it with that in mind, but I made it quite a bit bigger, of course. So I used the same kind of dormers, actually the same type of style that I also used for the apartments in this part of town, the sort of the military part of town. But I also mixed in some more old and stone details, like the staircase here, for example, and the exterior is going to be stone rather than, or well, white brick, I guess, rather than the paneled walls that the original houses has. And I think that when I get to the high school, I'm probably gonna mimic more of the modern part of town for that house, because I would like them to be a bit more different looking. And I feel a bit unused to making speed build videos actually, because I took a look at my videos that I've been posting and realized that it's actually been 6 months, I guess exactly 6 months, since I posted my last purely speed build videos. I've just been making so many speed builds inside of my Let's Play videos that I haven't really thought about it. But yeah, it's been half a year since I did this last. And yeah, it was actually nice to sit down and make a smaller project like this and to get things done as well, because I've been procrastinating a bit with building the schools as well. So it was good to sort of get it out of the way. And here I am also trying to think about what everything is going to look around the build as well. Of course, since it's going to be a building containing small children, I wanted it to be completely fenced in with these high wooden fences, so they couldn't like run off if they wanted to, but also so no strange people could come inside unsupervised. So that felt important. And then I started with the interior as well. And I built the entrance and the staircases leading up to the first floor, a bit similarly to how I have actually built the elementary school in Pleasant View, turns out, with the sort of staircases leading up with an open balcony, you could say, looking down to the entrance, and then the hallway upstairs is also going to be open. But I split up the staircases in two this time. Hopefully that will help a bit with the routing, because it's a bit tricky in Pleasant View. Yeah, I don't know how it will work. And then the upstairs is gonna be 2 classrooms and then the rooms for the teachers. And then on this floor we're gonna have the cafeteria, the bathrooms, and also a sort of playroom. That's something that's common in elementary schools in Sweden, that there's a room that's like used for having the kids before and after school. The younger years are usually coming a bit early when the parents drop them off in the mornings, and also pick them up later after work when they are not old enough to go home on their own. We call it fritids. I don't know if any other countries have that or not, but that's sort of my idea for the playroom there. And it's also neat to have that as an alternative to the playground outside as well. I have pretty extreme weathers and temperatures for summer, and I always have summer in Strangetown, so it's nice to have somewhere for the kids to escape if it gets too hot outside as well. That's what I thought. So that's going to be the room to the right now, and then the cafeteria is going to be to the left. And I'm going to do the same thing here as I've done in Pleasantview, that I'm going to have an active cafeteria worker career as well. So there's actually going to be a sim coming here to serve lunch for the kids. And I've completely screened off the kitchen area. So I think I'm gonna lock the person in to the kitchen so that they actually end up serving the dinner plates onto the island counters. And then the children can pick up the plates from there. Hopefully that's how it will work. So at first I started out with wooden floors on the first floor, but for some reason it didn't look the way I wanted it, so I changed it out for carpets instead. And that was more of the vibe I was going for. And yeah, I had this idea for the kitchen, how I wanted to look with the island counters here, so I started out with that. Since I was a bit more inspired for that room, and it became a bit white and soulless, I guess. There's not very much going on in here, but it's all very clinical, of course, built to be more of an industrial kitchen. The kids are not meant to be in here after all. So I actually think that the only pop of color in there is that pepper and salt containers. So yeah, there's gonna be more color in the bigger room here. I started out with these extreme curtains, but I didn't end up liking them well enough, so I went with these also pretty extreme ones, but I felt like they were better. They tied in together with the floor a bit more as well. This floor is incredible. It's so ugly, it's beautiful, I think. It's really amazing. And of course a lot of chairs and tables is going to be necessary for the kids. And then I didn't know what to do about this corner of the room. At first I thought I was going to put in some lockers here, but putting them in, it just didn't look right to me. And then I sort of had this vague memory of when I was a kid and went to elementary school, how we had a lot of art projects and things, and that the teachers used to sort of display them in different areas and out in the hallways, on the walls and things. So I thought it would be nice to have a little area here to just show off some of the stuff that I imagine that the children have been crafting here at some point or other. Maybe they've had like a theme day or something, making some cards and paintings. So that's what I used this little side table for. And maybe I can actually have them craft some things for real and put them there eventually as well. And of course some childish posters. It's always good to brighten up the room in this very sort of clinical area. The white walls do that. Even though they have some nice texture on them, it can be a bit impersonal. So putting up these childish drawings and posters is a good touch, I think. And then I moved out to the hallway, and that is pretty slim and limited in what I could do with it. But of course I wanted there to be these lockers of some kind. And I ended up going with these. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use them at first because they look more like something you would find in a high school than what you would find in an elementary school, I thought. But yeah, I ended up going with them anyway. I thought it was okay. And then this really cute bench really tied it together. And of course some sports stuff, playground stuff as well at the entrance. That's something that you would see a lot at elementary schools after all. And then some just normal bathrooms. There's not really much going on in here either. Pretty clean, clinical, and I don't think that children are gonna spend a lot of time here either, but they need to be toilets, of course, so there's toilets. I think I put in some plants. That's sort of the only colorful thing in this bathroom. So having some greenery livens things up a bit after all. And then I moved on to the first classroom and I put in some wall decorations here, and unfortunately my go-to blackboard was actually too wide, so I couldn't use it. But that actually inspired me to use this second one that I have that I don't use as much because it doesn't have that tray at the bottom, and also it sits a bit high. But I really like this swatch of it with the sort of childish paintings, so I was actually happy to rediscover it, sort of, you could say. And at first I started to go with white furniture, but I was starting to get sick and tired of the white and felt like, yeah, I need some color in here, please. So I ended up going with wooden tones instead, dark wooden tones. And I had this matching set of a wider desk for the teacher and then small units for the children. And I ended up spacing it out more than I really needed to, so I could bring it down again. And yeah, I could put in, what is it, 9 seats? Or is it 12? Yeah, 12 seats in total. And of course I used the opportunity pack, and this is going to be the storybook, so that's it for this classroom. But in the Strangetown Hood Tour, I also mentioned that since it is a pretty sciencey and special town, I had actually decided that I was gonna have also a science teacher working at the elementary school and a science teacher working at the high school. So these kids are gonna have a lot of science classes growing up. So that's what the second classroom coming up is gonna be, a science classroom. But for now, I'm taking my time cluttering up with some more of these sort of counters, putting in lots of books and nice deco for the kids, and trying to make it look a bit more childish than I would in a high school, I guess. There's some stuffed animals as well. And of course an escape sign as well. And then here's the science room. So there were actually 3 colors that's more sciencey, both for that pull down map and also the blackboard. So I didn't have to change much from there. And then I have these science tables. I think they're from around The Sims. And yeah, I ended up putting them in the same sort of way that it is in the other classroom. I was playing around with the layout a bit at first, but I couldn't make it look good, so yeah, it was good enough. I was a bit limited on where I could have sort of the teacher stand because of how the door was positioned and the windows, and then also this the size of the blackboard and everything. So yeah, I think that this was the best layout I could have gone with. And then some more cabinets, and Mr. Skeleton got a home here as well, so that was nice. And I put in a sink in the corner as well, because I figured that if they're gonna do some science experiments, it's nice to be able to wash their hands as well. Or clean beakers out or something. And some more decorations. And then I moved on to this room. That's gonna be sort of the teacher's office. There's gonna be one lounge room for the teachers, and then one office room, you could say. And I ended up not going with having the teachers have their own sort of cafeteria area, because I felt like with these young children, it makes more sense actually that the teachers would be sitting down having lunch together with the kids. That's my experience from schools where I'm from anyway, that the teachers were sort of supervising us throughout the lunch hour. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. No microwave dinners for these teachers. They're gonna have actual meals, so that's good. And then this room just became a sort of lounge room with a coffee maker at least. So they have somewhere to escape if the children become too much, I guess. So there's basically just a coffee maker and this sofa in here, and then some decorative shelves. This is a nice sofa actually. It has pillows in it already, so no need to clutter it up. And I really enjoyed putting in a lot of storage space in this build. I just feel like that's what you would find in a school, I guess. Lots of different cupboards and things to, just store away stuff. And this is a space that was a bit awkward, so I ended up putting in some more of those lockers up there for the children and some seating as well. And of course some space paintings as well, since this is Strangetown after all. And then I moved on to the sort of playroom, and this is going to be a lot more casual than the other rooms. So another sofa group here with pillows included, so that's nice yet again. And there's some really cute swatches of this, so you can find some pretty childish ones here. Bringing some pop of color, finally. So yeah, there's basically just gonna be like sitting furniture, some bookshelves, and toys really in here for the kids. So it is possible, if I have a lot of children attending this elementary school, that I'm gonna have the younger kids just sort of sit down here, same way that I do in Pleasantview. But of course, it's a bit different here as well, because there are 2 classrooms. I don't have that in Pleasantview, so that might change things. Maybe the children in general are more studious here or something. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to find out when I start to play with it. So this is the playroom done, and I mean most of the interior really. And I moved on to the outside. So as I've done in many of the houses in Strangetown, I like putting down some sort of terrain paint, and then just drop in a bunch of these sort of desert plants at random, not being too careful with it to make it look a bit wild. And that actually brings a nice feeling to it, I guess. It looks unkept, and that's a bit charming, I guess. And then this whole big space was just gonna be a playground, I decided, so put in a bunch of playground stuff and try to figure out how to make this space not look so empty, because from the start it just has this sort of desert sand color that just felt like it was just blending in with everything else. So I was gonna try out a bunch of different terrain paints here, but it felt like a lot of the ones that I was trying out just became too much, so I was very undecisive about this as well. I was going back and forth a lot, trying out a bunch of different things and different patterns, and using some in one area but not the next, and then everything just looked wrong to me for some reason. But then I ended up going with this sort of alternate look for the sand, I guess. So my idea is that they have taken in some, I don't know, softer sand or something in this area for the playground, so that the kids don't get injured as much when they play around here. So I guess that's what it is. And of course some sitting furniture for the teachers as well is good to have, both in looks and for gameplay as well. I like having my teachers just go outside and sit supervising the children, maybe chat to each other while they're out playing. And then of course some bikes, because what is a school without a bike rack, right? Needs to be there. And then some more plants, cactuses, and I moved on to the lights. So I really like putting in this, but of course I don't think I'm ever gonna see it, because I don't think I'm gonna be at the school at night time. The school is out at 3 p.m. after all, so I don't know how necessary this is, but it's nice to have proper lighting after all, if I ever end up needing it for some reason. Maybe some teenagers will sneak in at some point or something. That would be fun. And then of course we also need street lights to tie it up together with the neighborhood, really. Make it all look cohesive. And of course, one of the most important things is the vents. There has to be vents for the summer, otherwise all of my Sims are gonna be red, boiled, looking like lobsters in 0 seconds. And this is the elementary school finished. as I said, definitely looks a lot like the Grand House, but yeah, that was sort of my purpose for it. And yeah, I think it will be a good size to play in with the children. And yeah, I really look forward to seeing how they utilize the space. And yeah, seeing some life in these hallways is going to be really nice. So yeah, as I said, I've been putting this off for a long time, but I was glad that I finally finished it. And yeah, I'm really happy with the results. And I hope you like it as well. So yeah, we're coming up to the end of the video. Thank you for requesting this speed build. It was a lot of fun. And I'm going to be posting the part 2 and part 3 very soon. So thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.